the ultimate challenge. Crossfire! Crossfire! You get caught up in the crossfire! Crossfire! You get caught up in the crossfire! 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 You'll get caught up in it.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here. As always, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I really do appreciate it. You can show your support for the video, support for the channel by liking and commenting down below. And I want you in the comments below to drop your favorite 90s horror movies. I want to know every one of your guys' favorite 90s horror movies. If you want to do a top 5, if you just want to list one. But everybody coming to the video who happens to be checking out the comments, maybe they can find some recommendations as well. But I have a stack right here from my personal collection, some of my favorite 90s horror movies. First up, we're going to be talking about Disturbing Behavior. If you guys have not seen this movie, this is about as 90s as it gets. Katie Holmes, James Marsden, Catherine Isabel, Nick Stahl. The cast in this thing is amazing. It tells the story of a kid, James Marsden, who arrives at a new school and notices something very peculiar about the group's clique, the most clean-cut group in the school that maybe has a little something sinister below the surface. One day, James Marsden's new friend, played by Nick Stahl, who's a super edgy, weed-smoking, metalhead type of dude, suddenly shows up to school like a completely different person. It really sets into motion his quest to find out what the hell is going on with the Blue Ribbons, this disturbing group of kids who may be being somewhat altered by a group into changing into the perfect student, the perfect people. It's a really, really interesting movie. Classic 90s. Like I said, this movie is about as 90s as it could possibly get as far as the fashion, the directing style, the cast. Everything about this movie is so freaking 90s. It's unreal. If you haven't seen Disturbing Behavior, it is a must watch. You gotta see it. Check out Disturbing Behavior. Next up, we're going with The Intruder, a iconic 90s slasher, probably one that's a little less known. 10 p.m. and the employees of Michigan's Walnut Lake Supermarket are in for a really bad night. The place is shutting its doors for good, and the night crew has a long shift ahead of them, longer than they think. That was ridiculous. The lovely checkout girl has a deranged ex-boyfriend, the store's phone lines are cut, and the employees start dying in the most stomach-churning ways imaginable. Courtesy of Academy Award-winning K&B Effects Group. A deranged killer is on the loose in the grocery store. Can anyone stop the murderous intruder? This is an amazing slasher with some amazing kills. Supermarket, grocery store slasher. It's fantastic. Killer on the loose, picking off cashiers and grocery store workers. 1989, so I'm barely making the cut. Cheating a little bit on this one, but it still has a very 90s feel, to be honest with you. Next up, one of my favorite 90s horror movies of all time, and that is Jack Frost. Basically, this tells the ridiculous story about a murderer who's on the way to be executed. His truck is overturned in a car accident. The truck that's transporting him through a ridiculous chemical spill reaction kind of a deal. It happens during the winter, and the chemical spill, him and the snow all get mixed together, and he turns into an evil killer snowman, and it's ridiculous. It's so much fun. It's one of my favorite 90s horror movies of all time. You gotta see it. This is coming from 1996. Classic movie. Gotta check it out. This is from the early 90s. This is 1992. Now, this was before the television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This stars Christy Swanson, Rutger Hauer, Paul Rubens, or AKA Pee-wee, David Arquette, Luke Perry. The cast is amazing. It tells the story of a teenage girl who doesn't know that she is destined to become a vampire slayer. Her trainer or her birthright coach arrives at her school one day, tell her she's the chosen one. Of course, she doesn't want to believe it. Then the vampire shit starts happening at the school. There's a lot of stars that you'll recognize in here before they were famous. Hilary Swank, Ben Affleck, a bunch of great actors. But this is an absolutely iconic 90s horror vampire movie. It's an absolute must see. You gotta see it. Check out Buffy the Vampire Slayer from 1992. You'll love it. I had the biggest crush on Christy Swanson back in the day. Oh my God. Check it out. Next up, the iconic 1999 horror movie Idle Hands. This is a horror comedy. Great cast. Jessica Alba, Devon Sawa, Seth Green. I forget the other actor's name, that poor guy. But basically, Devon Sawa gets his hand possessed in a very Evil Dead 2 type of way. He's forced to cut off his hand, which wreaks havoc on the town. It's absolutely insane. Offspring, the band, has a pretty cool scene in here that I won't spoil. It's a pretty gory little horror scene, but basically his hand ends up killing his two best friends, which is played by Seth Green and the other actor, Eldon Henson, I think that's his name. We also have Vivica Fox in here. This is just a blast. Everything about this movie is so much fun. It's an absolute must-watch for 90s horror fans. If you haven't seen it, haven't heard of it, this is the Scream Factory edition, but it's a must-watch for horror fans. It's a must-watch for 90s horror fans, or if you're new to horror, this is a great kind of bridge gap gateway horror movie because it's not too gory, too gnarly. It's just a lot of fun, and I love fun horror movies. Definitely check out Idle Hands from 1999. You'll love it. Next up, one of my all-time favorites from 1992, and that is Dr. Giggles. This movie is absolutely absurd. After Larry Drake escapes from a mental hospital, he's convinced in his mind that he is professional enough to be a doctor, or he thinks he's a doctor anyway. He's just an insane guy who's hell-bent on performing fucked up medical procedures to kill people. There's a side story of him trying to ultimately perform a heart transplant on this this girl, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not an actual doctor. So basically the whole movie is just a way to show this insane, giggling doctor commit these horrific murders on people. Super, super creative kills. There's a stomach pump kill in this movie that's amazing. This is a German release of Dr. Giggles, but absolutely iconic role from Larry Drake. He's just amazing. He has this maniacal giggle. This is just one of these iconic classic 90s horror movies that's just a must see. That you gotta watch this movie. Watch Dr. Giggles. This is just a quick little fun video. I just grabbed some movies off the shelf, and I thought I might talk about them since we've been talking about a lot of 90s horror lately because of Fear Street. If you want me to do another collection of these 90s movies, I got a bunch more I can talk about. I will point you towards my brand new series. It came from 94. I just did the first episode covering Brain Scan, which is another fantastic movie from the 90s if you want to check that out. But that's basically it. Like I said, let me know if you want more of these videos. I will definitely do some more 90s horror movie videos if you guys want them. So comment down below. Let me know your favorite 90s movies, and I will definitely check them out. And yeah, so that's it. I think we're done here, guys. I really appreciate it. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Now, when you buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1, you'll get Sonic 2 absolutely free. Sonic 2 handles stubborn stains, embarrassing bald spots, no problem. It even slices and dices, makes thousands of julienne fries. But wait, you can play it too. This free Sonic 2 is a $54.99 value. You get 2 Sonics for the price of 1. Sonic 2 fits easily into any tackle box. Made from a space-age polymer plastic for years of family fun, and pets love it too. Buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1 and get Sonic 2 free.
Act now. Wiener Dog Sweater sold separately.
I love movies. Gosh, I love movies. I love watching them, and I love making them.